Coming to you from an abandoned amusement park. The horror. It's the little podcast of horrors with James, Christina, and Chris.
What was
It's
that?
like saying don't think about pink elephants.
That was random. Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Hey, I'm
like your
James.
background.
Welcome to my podcast, Little
Whoa.
Podcast of Horrors. The
What?
podcast that's about
Hold up.
me,
Wow.
James.
Okay. So you can edit,
Yeah,
do
right.
all this stuff with me and Christina, but don't you even? He's just like, it's my show. Y'all get in the background.
We're the unpaid interns.
We're the unpaid that have the broom closet for an office, you know.
Well, I like your background, Chris.
Thank you. For our listeners, I just got a like hauntingly creepy background to hide my messy bedroom because right now we're still poor podcasters. We're not to the we don't have the studio yet. We're just in our bedrooms and our little microphones and being like recording, like when we were 15, just like, hey guys, so let's talk about ghosts and scary stuff.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that, so thank you for joining us. Have a good day. End of the podcast.
Bye.
What?
Love
No.
you.
I am actually really excited about this episode because this is going to be an episode where we talk about we had an adventure. We
went on an adventure.
We went on a ghostly
You were
adventure,
there.
and you were there. So to explain a little bit, I guess what was it? It was month and a half ago now. A month and a half ago, the three of us, along with many of our friends, trekked off to the lovely state of Colorado. It was lovely. It's nice. And snow and all of that. But we were staying in Fort Collins. Wonderful town, by the way. Love it. Totally, highly recommend it. But then we did a day trip where we went up to Estes Park, Colorado. And there resides the Stanley Hotel. Now, if anybody's not familiar with the Stanley Hotel, it is the hotel that inspired Stephen King to write The Shining. And I personally have been wanting to go there for years and years and years, and I never thought it was going to happen, and suddenly it did. So yeah, we went. I don't. Am I going to be the only one talking about this? I mean, come on.
Well, no, I was about to say, did anybody have a ghostly encounter while they were there?
I went crazy and I chased them around with an axe.
It was really
At
not
one point,
fun.
they hid in the room and I like axed a hole in the door and then I stuck my head through the door and said,
Hey there, guys! And I'm like, it totally ruined the moment. It's like, what are you guys doing? Why are you guys running away? I gotta go to the bathroom. Don't lock the door. Open it up. So, well, yes. So to give you a little bit of background, the Stanley Hotel is a 140-room colonial revival hotel in Estes Park, Colorado. It's just about 5 miles from the Rocky Mountain National Park. And it was actually built by a man named Freeland Oscar Stanley. And so the three of us, along with several of our friends, we went on the tour. We'd actually booked it ahead of time because that's what you do. And it's kind of neat. Whenever you go in, when you first pull up to the Stanley Hotel, they give you and you're there for the museum. I guess you're there for the tour. They gave me that coin. And it says they didn't give you one?
They gave you a coin?
Yeah, they gave you a little coin. It is a Stanley Hotel. And on the back, it's got the axe. And it says room 217.
what the heck?
No,
with
I didn't
me.
get one.
Yeah, I got a coin.
They just liked your pretty face that much. They were like, here you go.
She was
Handsome.
she was a young lady. Maybe. My fetus is like, here you go. No, I think she gave it to me because she was like, you could take 10% off of the gift shop that was closed by the
That
time
was
we were done.
closed. Yeah.
I was like, well, this
Yeah.
was useless, but it's fine because I wanted to keep it anyway. It's a beautiful hotel, by the way. This hotel is nice. If you forget the creepiness factor, it's a very beautiful hotel and it's very well
It's a
preserved.
good step above the Motel 6.
Yeah, it kind of is. It's better than the Bates
Yeah.
Motel. I mean, if you're going to be chased by a homicidal killer, it's the Bates Motel or the Stanley. I'm choosing the Stanley. It's pretty nice. So, I mean, Jack Torrance or Norman Bates. Jack Torrance. So,
Yeah. I'd go there out too.
yeah. But the thing about the Stanley Hotel, is that it is notoriously one of the most haunted, or believed to be one of the most haunted hotels in the United States. Well, I feel like they all say that down there.
I feel like that too.
This is the most notoriously haunted hotel in the United States,
According to our marketing department.
according to our marketing.
Yeah.
So,
So,
yeah, go ahead.
do you guys remember any of the potential spirits that they talked about?
I do.
Yes.
What do you remember, James? What was the first? We went to what was the first? The music hall?
Yeah, that was really pretty. I mean, the tour starts out. What is that building they had us go into? It had like a little tower on it.
It's the concert hall. It's
Well-
like.
Well, we didn't start there. I mean, like they walked us over there, but like
Oh,
they
that was the
start in
main-
that little room.
Yeah, it was the main hotel. We're in the main hotel part that we
Yeah.
started.
And then we traipsed over to a little theater building thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, the owner, the guy that had built it, the story that they told us was that
Oh, I remember. So the owner was a fancy pants rich guy. And after he built the Fancy Pants Hotel for his other Fancy Pants rich friends, he was like, well, what do Fancy Pants rich friends like to do? They like to watch theater. And I believe his wife was doing something theatrically, right? Like she was
Music.
doing like a musical performance, right?
Yeah, he built it for her, I think.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
built it for her and for his Fancy Pants rich friends so that she would have somewhere to do her performing. So it's like, here, have a theater, honey. And all of the Fancy Pants rich friends came to this theater that was exclusive to said Fancy Pants.
But it turned out that she had stage fright, right? Like
That's what I was gonna say. Didn't
Yes,
she
she
like
had
not
stage
want to do
fright.
it though?
Stage fright at her own stage.
Yep. It was really pretty concert
Oh.
hall.
yeah. Yeah, and it was what I thought was neat though was just for the history side. So yes, if I remember, he'd built it for his wife, but she ended up discovering she had stage fright. So they ended up just using it to host all kinds of shows and other. Harry Houdini performed on the stage.
Oh yeah.
And there was a trap door that they had put in for him for his performance. And I saw that. I was like, that's so cool. Harry Houdini was here.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was really neat. But yeah, they said this was the first room they talked about. They said that at night there's like cold spots. They talked about shadow people they'd seen.
Like up in the balcony area or
Yeah,
whatever
there was
that's
like
called the
yeah, like
mezzanine.
It's not a party till the shadow people show up.
I know. Well, like up in the balcony too, they said that I wanted to say that's actually where the Stanleys actually that was like they sat up there
Their
to
spot.
watch their spot.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically if you're in this private hotel theater looking forward at the stage, if you were to then turn around and look behind you and up, what
Yeah.
would be looking above you is ye old sound booth where I believe Stanley himself would watch, and supposedly it is not uncommon for people to this day to see someone
Yeah.
watching
Yeah.
from that booth.
Yeah.
We'll probably post
Who's
pictures
not alive anymore,
too.
just to clarify. It's not just some guy.
Yes.
It's a ghost.
It's a dead person that's no longer with us. Yes, we'll be posting we took a lot of photographs because they encouraged that on
Yeah.
the tour. The two tour guides, which by the way, kudos to both of them. I wish I remember their names.
Yeah.
but kudos
They
to
were
both
good.
of them. They did a fantastic job. They were entertaining. But they would do their spiel, and then they would allow us to kind of walk around the room and take pictures in hopes we'd catch something. So of course, I'm over here and like I got like this ghost app that's supposed to I'm doing like infrared, and I'm doing like
Oh, no. Let's skip over that. Let's talk about the Ghost app.
okay, so yes, I got a ghost app. Well, we're going in. So you guys remember a few episodes back, my sister, who actually does this, she had recommended this
Your sister, the
app.
Ghostbuster.
My sister, the Ghostbuster, had recommended this app, and it's supposed to pick up, like if there's a ghost in the room, like it starts picking up like the electromagnetic field, and then they can talk through it. So words will pop up if there's supposed to be ghosts there, and but the thing is, what I utilized was the camera function. There's a camera function on there, so it allows you to take like regular pictures. It allows you to take like like night vision kind of photographs,
I also did
infrared.
this.
Yeah, so that I actually was more doing. I
I
wasn't
really
caring
want
about.
to see like the programming code to this app. Like,
Yeah.
where's the if ghost equals 1 record ghost function?
Yeah,
I want to. I want to see how that appears in code.
actually, you know what? I just thought of it. I can pull it up and still look at some of the things that were said. Although I do remember now. So the app is called GhostTube. Let's see here.
Did you catch any pictures with like the infrared thing? Like
No.
anything interesting? No. Okay.
No, not at
So
first.
to clarify,
Well,
listeners, basically this app is supposed to be akin to all those little tool doodads those ghost hunters bring with them to do the ghost hunting. So, it's got the different spectrums of light for videos. So you might detect something in infrared that you want to detect normally, or it might pick up sounds that you wouldn't pick up with the human ear normally, or etc. There's an app for that.
yeah, I know. So I will say though, I was picking up phrases.
As
take
did
it.
I.
Yeah. So the first one, and this was what time was our tour? Was 7?
It was in the evenings, so
Because
Yeah,
this was
like
at
7.
this was June 3rd, and this is at 7:42 p.m. I think this is right when we were first in the hall, like the music hall.
Okay.
It says, "Have you been here before?"
Oh.
And then right after that, it said, "I see you."
Okay. Thank you.
And then this is to show you how random it gets. But then the next one after that is like moments later. It's the same time. It just says bedroom.
followed by now.
Of course,
Like,
I was not expecting there to be full sentences.
oh yeah, they'll do. You can get sometimes you get full sentences. Sometimes you just get like just one random word.
Okay, so there is a part after the music hall, they take you down into the was it the quarters where the
It's considered
guy
the, go ahead.
The groundskeeper, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Where
Well,
he
it's
lived.
like, yeah, it's like, but is it Paul? Was that his name? Paul?
I think so.
Okay, hold on. Sorry. I was just pulling up the app to review. Oh, sorry. I'm cracking
Oh,
myself
no.
up. I was just pulling up the app to review the supposedly spoken words from that day. Instead of pulling up the archive, I accidentally just hit start listening. So apparently there in the last couple of minutes there's the voice was saying, "Satan, stop." I told him, "Torturer." Oh wait, sorry, I'm bleeding into the June 3rd. I told him was from the Stanley visit, but today we got "Satan, stop."
Okay.
So the ghost listening today, for one, thank you for listening.
Yes.
2,
Please review us on iTunes.
and 2, we don't have any authority over Satan. I apologize on that one. You're gonna have to tell him yourself to stop.
Stop it, Lucifer, you dick. Okay. Well, I mean, but yeah. Going back
Anyway,
to
what I was trying to tell you before I derailed myself is
Oh my
yeah, from
God.
that day, uh there were words like well, let me back up. There was one room we went into, it was the music hall, right? Where Jim Carrey supposedly had been.
No.
no, that's later on. That's later
Okay,
on.
that makes things up. Okay, I'll wait till you get there before I read those haunting words then.
I think I know what they are. Because I think I was holding the phone when this was happening. Because when my phone died, he let me use his for a little bit.
Yeah, all my words are from that room.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, so we
carry
went
on.
down into the downstairs underneath the concerto hall. They have concerts there. Like, um, who was going to be there? What's her name? Come
Oh
into
yeah,
my window. What's her name?
that famous
Melissa
person I don't know.
Etheridge.
Melissa Etheridge was going to be there the next weekend, and I remember this. And they use it as sort of like the green room for whoever's performing there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I'm trying to remember the
Oh
caretaker's name.
yeah,
Was it Paul? I wanted to say it was Paul or
I want to
I
say it
want
was
to say it
Paul.
was Paul. Yeah.
yeah.
So he worked there in like until the early 2000s, right? Like it
Yeah.
was pretty
Like,
recent when he
It was
died.
like a groundskeeper service dude kind of dude.
yeah, I think they said like 2000 and he died like 2005. So this wasn't like back in the
Yeah,
day.
Mhm.
This
it was
was in the
early
last
2000s.
20
Yeah.
years.
Well, when they take you down there, they like turn off all the lights.
Of course they do.
And so I was actually kind of spooked just because all the lights were out and there were a lot of people that I didn't know. Um, I did try to I took some pictures in there, but I didn't really get anything of interest. Did you guys catch anything
I took a
in
bunch of
that
pictures
room?
and they're
No.
all very boring.
Yeah. It's
Did
just
you?
pictures of strangers and
Now
a
you got
room.
a
Yeah.
picture, Chris.
Well, we're gonna get to that.
Okay.
Well,
We're working our way chronologically.
yeah. So did you catch any words or phrases in Paul's room?
So the thing is, I don't know where I was at certain times. Um
Oh, I
at
have that problem
7
too. Like
so it's
sometimes I just don't know where I am.
I can tell, James.
I mean, as far like so I do see at 7:50 p.m., which I think that may have been about the time we were there. It said he won't leave.
Sorry.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that's spooky.
Yeah, I always
So if
get
it
that though. I mean, that's
he won't
nothing.
James won't leave.
And that's the last one I had on my phone because then my phone died. So actually, yes, I know that's when it was because it was right after that that my phone died. Oh, actually, I can do that because I can look at the photographs and see what the last photograph was that I took that day, on the phone before it inevitably died. And it didn't die because of like that old, like, I know like some people will be like, their equipment failure and that sort of thing. No, it's just because my dumb ass did not charge my phone.
Or or it was haunted. The phone was haunted. It was killed by a ghost.
Yeah. So 7:50 p.m. I'm looking at it right now because I see the timestamp. We were downstairs. Yeah, yep. That's right when we were down below in the green room
Okay.
in Paul's room, I guess you could say. Um,
So he won't leave. Oh.
now
Well,
what?
okay, and in that room they also leave like offerings for Paul.
Well,
So
they
there's no reason for him to
Yes.
leave.
yeah. Well, there was like
Right.
a bottle of Maker's Mark,
Yeah.
which is one of my favorite bourbons, and they were like, I mean, when we left it down here, it was full, and now look at it, and I'm thinking,
Yeah, supposedly they said that supposedly like anytime anybody leaves a bottle of liquor down there, unopened or not. So I mean, we're talking as according to them, even if it's never been opened before, it's still sealed. They'll come back later in the day and find, even if it's
Still
still
missing.
sealed, some of the alcohol gone.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I was gonna ask
Oh,
because I couldn't
all
remember
likes is
if they
drink a
said that.
drink. He likes his booze.
You gotta do something in the afterlife, you know?
yeah.
Hmm.
But they said that people have reported seeing like his face in the window. Oh, and remember right when they're talking about that, what was it, like the water heater or something kicked on? and it scared the
Mhm.
shit out of those two ladies because they were like, "Oh my god!" And the tour guys, they were like, "No, that's just the water heater. It's fine. It's fine." And I was like, "Oh," but yeah. Yeah. And then they took us. The next room was creepier because there were no lights.
Yeah.
Like at least the room we were in, there was a window, and then they took us in that middle room. There's no windows, and so it's just
Yeah.
pitch black in there.
Yes, and it was very small, so we had to like kind of squish in.
Yeah.
And that was the room where they said the 17-year-old girl was found dead. Was that correct?
Not
Is my
sure.
memory correct?
Because
Because isn't that where we did the lollipop thing?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so basically, from what I recall, there was there was a period that the hotel had to go unattended for a while. I don't recall the exact context, but there was a season basically where there was nobody there at the hotel. It was in operation. So there were squatters who would kind of just make that hotel a temporary home for the homeless. And that was a particular room some of them would gather in. And among them was a 17-year-old girl who, at some point or another, stopped living, if you will.
Her name was
right,
Lucy, wasn't it?
Lucy,
yes,
correct?
but she actually didn't die inside. She was trying to get in and froze, right? Like it was something like that. Anyway, it was around there, but yes, that was like the area where the squatters would go. That was a sad one.
Right, but okay. So the thing, I have comments on this particular room.
Okay.
So the whole thing they do is they bring you into this room. As they said, there are no windows, so they shut off the lights as you do. So it's pitch black. Nothing happened while it was pitch black. The lights come back on, and there's supposedly things that you can do to interact with the little ghost girl. Now, what kind of weirded me out, not in a spooky way, but what are you thinking kind of way, was they kept talking about Lucy as if she were a little girl. And the thing that they had us,
Yeah.
everyone in the room, do was like they passed out lollipops to all of us. And it was like, hold out a lollipop and she might interact with you. It was like,
Mhm.
17? Are you confusing 17 with 7 here? It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, and they said she also liked the kids a lot, like as if she's a kid, and so she would want to play with them. I was like, she's 17 years old. She's not gonna
yeah,
want
she wants the keys to your car,
kids.
not your lollipop.
Yeah, she's all like, "This is so degrading. I'm a fucking teenager. I'm almost like 20 years old." And I'm like, "Oh, do I want a lollipop? No, bitch. I want a drink."
She's
Wanna
the
know
one
who's
actually drinking the Maker's Mark.
I'm the one that's drinking the booze back there. Fuck you and your lollipop. But the fun thing about that was, I say fun. So what was it?
It was fun.
They were like, take your hand, flat out on the palm, and they were like, take the lollipop upside down and put it on your hand. And if she likes you, she'll make it like tip over.
Yeah, she'll knock you down.
Or your nerves in your hand will simply do that. But of course, we're all gathered. I mean, I don't know how many of this were. I mean, like 20, 30 of us. I don't know.
Something like that.
My two oldest kids came with us. And as my two co-hosts know very well, my middle child is
Star of the show.
He's the star of the show. So, and he's never met a stranger. He will talk your damn ear off like you wouldn't believe. Anyway, so inevitably the hosts are talking to us. The tour guides, they're just like, anybody get anything? Is any of that? And suddenly, because I'm on the outside of the room, because I was kind of trailing behind, because I was actually purposefully, when every room emptied out, I was the last one in the room just to see if I could catch anything, because I was really trying. And so while James and Christina and the rest of our group were kind of in the room, I'm on the outside, and I'm kind of just standing outside in the hallway near the door while everybody else is crammed into this room. And they all they have are like flashlights in there because they have the lights off. And they're like, is anybody getting anything? And then sure enough, I hear my 12-year-old son, I think I'm getting something. I think she's talking to me right now. And suddenly there's my son, the performer, right in the middle of the entire room, holding the lollipop, and has everybody looking because they're like, oh, wow, let's see what's happening. And I'm sitting there like, nothing's happening. It's just my kid. And yeah, and he just like, it's moving just a little bit. And I, plus, once again, bless these tour guides. They're just kind of like, oh, well, I mean, yeah, maybe it is. It does look like it's moving just a little, and it's obvious. It wasn't a ghost. It's my son. Bless his heart. I love him, but he's, doing what he does. So anyway.
So to be fair, so the way this experience works is as Chris said, you're holding your hand out, palm up, with this lollipop top down. So the stick of the lollipop sticking straight up in the air, and you're just kind of holding it that way in your hand, balancing it, if you will. And if the lollipop falls over, that insinuates that Lucy has interacted, and the direction, that, like, if multiple lollipops fall and the sticks all point the same direction, that's pointing to who Lucy's interested in at the moment. So to be fair, I had my lollipop. I'm here being skeptical. Like, all right, let's see what happens. And I was being especially mindful to be super calm and still and whatnot, and not be twitchy or anything. And sure enough, I felt the lollipop fall over, seemingly of its own accord. I hadn't twitched, I hadn't done anything. It just fell right over. So like, you have my attention, lollipop / potential ghost girl. But we went back to her. I kept the lollipop, and we went back to her Airbnb, after the tour. And I was just like, we were sitting around chatting, and I was repeating, the tests, just, the rest of the evening, and it kept falling over in my hand. I was like, oh, well, either Lucy followed me back, or this is BS. So as you will.
Maybe there was another house. Who knows?
Maybe there's another 17-year-old girl who has a strange attraction to lollipops.
So I think it's after that point we walk out to that little, I don't know what it was. It was like kind of not a lobby, but like it wasn't another
It's like a main
room.
Yeah, it was like a main lobby room area, I guess. I don't know.
Still on the same floor, but okay, is that where
the mirror?
Okay, so Chris, you tell us about the mirror.
Well, before I do that, as I said a minute ago, I trailed behind everybody on purpose, because I was the last one in the room. And so, I'll tell you now, after you all went out of that room, of the Lucy room, I went into that room by myself in the damn dark.
Mm-hmm. What happened?
Nothing. But I was talking to her, and I was like, hey, if you're here, I'm so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
They're like,
you're a tourist attraction.
I'm like, you're not. They're making you a tourist attraction. And so I was like, if you're here, I'm Chris. You could say something on the phone, because at this point, I think I was holding James's phone, and I don't know if anything was caught, but I don't think so. And I was trying to take pictures, but I mean, it's a pitch black room, and so I didn't get anything. And then I was like, well, I better go out and join the rest of the group. So I did. And we come down there, and she's showing us this mirror. And so this mirror is, I think, 112 years old. And the big thing that they talk about is that mirrors are believed to be portals too. And they were talking about, in one particular, they've had people, they said, take pictures of the mirror. And there have been times where something was in the mirror, a person, a figure. One that stood out to me was, they said this young woman took a picture of the mirror itself. And when you look at the picture, she's squatting down, and there's these people standing all around her. But she was alone. You can't quite make out their faces. I found the photograph, and I was just kind of
You did?
Yes, and I'll share it with you later. But I was like, holy shit. If she's supposed to be alone, what the fuck is this?
Maybe the tour was happening behind her, and she was just completely unaware of it the entire time. It's like, lady, if you just turned around, you would have seen the aura behind you.
I would have maybe been
That's
inclined
something I
to
would do.
agree with you until I had my own experience in the mirror. So they, of course, like they did, they were encouraging us to take pictures of the mirror, see if you get anything. So I did. I was like, oh, come on. I was like, is anybody? And I think I said something like, if you're here, show me. But one of the things I on purpose did was as I would take photographs, I'd look away so I wouldn't catch it. I don't know why. I'm not sure why I did that, but I don't know. I was like, I'm going to just not look and just like in hopes that maybe they'll appear if I'm not
Maybe they're
looking.
shy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of what I did. Now I did two
Fooled
photographs.
you.
I actually did 3 photographs. I did a photograph leading up to the mirror. I did a photograph without the flash, and then I did a photograph with the flash. And then I went on my merry. I kind of, and then I looked at him, didn't see anything. I was kind of like, okay. Once again, just a bust. Just a bust. But later, actually, it was 2 nights later, I think, I was laying in bed and everybody's gone. We're all staying in this really nice rental house, and I was downstairs and they had like this beautiful basement area. It's like a whole other like just living quarters, bathroom, bedroom, living room downstairs because I was there with my wife and my 3 kids. And I'm in bed in the dark. Katie, my wife's asleep, my son's asleep, and I'm just looking through the pictures and I'm trying to look really hard. Like I'm like, maybe I'll see something in the window or I'll see something here or there. And that's when I got to the mirror picture. And I see if you're looking at the picture in the left side corner, I see something in the background. Now I'm like, what is that? So I zoom in and it's clearly a person. Well, okay, it's a person that looks like a person. Is that a person? Almost looks like a bust. It's a profile.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. There's a table there and it's up against a wall and it's just sort of in this little, like, I don't know what you call it, a little groove. Like it's sort of, there's nothing there. It's just like this little groove area and it's like this black top table and it's against the wall and this figure looks like it's walking. All you can see is the head and like just the top of the shoulders, and it just looks like somebody's walking through the damn table in towards nothing. Like it's just towards a wall, but it's like they're just walking towards it. And I look at the next picture with the flash. There's nothing there. There's no silhouette. There's no like there. I couldn't explain it. And then looking at the picture leading up to it, there's nothing on the table. There's no like bust or pictures or anything that would explain this very clear figure walking basically through a table and into a wall. And of course, this is 11 o'clock at night. I'm in the dark. So instantly, I am freaked the hell out. And I text the whole house and I'm like, guys, I think I caught something. And I just sent out a mass text to everybody in the house and everybody's asleep.
Yeah.
So nobody responded.
Well, yeah. I didn't see it
Everybody's-
until the
yeah,
next
and we'll,
morning.
Yeah.
We'll share these pictures to our
Yes.
Facebook Snapchats.
Yes. And
It's a pretty good
now
one.
that we've broadcast, once this episode is out and broadcast, I will be sending these to the Stanley to be like, hey, I caught something. You tell me.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I mean, both of us were taking an excessive amount of pictures of that stupid
Yeah.
mirror.
Yeah.
And,
I was too, and I didn't get anything like that.
Yeah, because the next
me neither.
morning,
So
I'm asking all of you, I'm like, did anybody see something in your pictures? And everybody's like, no, there's nothing
all
there. It's
my
just a
pictures
table.
of that mirror are boring. And mind you, like both of our sets of pictures are angled so that both of our pictures include that table that are behind us reflected in the mirror.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one Chris has got, after looking at that, it doesn't match up with my pictures, and
Pretty
There wasn't
compelling.
exactly a lot of normal activity in that room, especially, when it was just the two of us being the last to walk out of there. So
Yeah, that was the other thing is we were one of the last people to walk out of that room, so there's nobody else really there except me and him.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing going on right there.
See, that's what I know something I'm like shit is when James can't even debunk it. And it's like, oh my God. And the nice thing is that so many people like will post their pictures on Facebook and they'll link it through the Stanley Hotel page. So I was actually able to find people who had been there not even a week prior than us in the exact same spot in front of that exact same mirror, and there's nothing there on that table. It's just a table. There's nothing there going to explain that shape.
It's a very boring table.
It's gray.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. It can't really be a shadow because it's like gray, but it's not like you can't see through it. It's like this gray solid mass. And when you look, you'll see. I mean, you and tell us what you think. But to me, it looks like an older gentleman. And I can almost tell, it almost seemed like there were glasses on his face, and I'm like, is this Paul? Is this him?
I was looking through my pictures last night and it was just not interesting whatsoever. I thought I found a baby face in one of them and I was like, ew. But also it was just like where light was reflecting off something and it was a blurry picture. So it's like, dang it. I want a ghost baby.
Ghosts do like to be blurry.
Yeah.
So Chris caught a ghost or may have caught a ghost. I don't know what to explain it. I don't know how to explain that. It looks like a person, but it looks like a gray person. Not really a shadow person, but not a person. We'll have it posted on our Instagram and all our other. We have a TikTok video. We have all of our social accounts where we can post pictures. You can see it, and you tell us. Send.
Yeah.
You can email us. In fact, I'll make sure to put a. I'll put a. What's the word I'm looking for? The questionnaire.
Like a Q&A thing
Q&A
on our
thing.
episode.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll put a Q&A up and, be like, you can tell us, does it look like it goes to you? So you decide. So yeah, that was my one big experience going into it or leaving it. So I left satisfied. Well, I didn't leave the Stanley satisfied in the sense of like, I thought we left the hotel that night and I was like, I didn't catch anything. My sons were a little disappointed. Because from there, that's when we went, after we left that whole building, we walked over to the second building. And I remember the story behind that was that originally it was, what was it? Like it was co-ed or it was like, or not co-ed.
Well, it was like men's only.
Not co-ed.
Very much not co-ed.
But then like one room, the billiards room, they would let women in.
Yes.
But they had to sit on those very uncomfortable wood benches sitting straight up.
It was old-timey prudish times.
Yeah. That's
So
where they
rude.
told the story of Jim Carrey.
Yeah. And that's where you picked something else up because you like told us in the tour.
Yeah. Oh, so what was it, James, that they said about Jim? Like,
Right. Okay. So, funnily enough, the Shining was not filmed at the Stanley.
Right.
What was filmed at the Stanley was Dumb and Dumber, starring starring Jim Carrey, among others. So Jim Carrey stayed at the Stanley during the shooting of Dumb and Dumber, and there is a room, a specific room. If y'all can remember the number, I cannot.
217, I believe. It's on the coin.
Yeah, that sounds right. But but there's that specific room that's supposed to be super mega ultra haunted, and Jim Carrey specifically requested that room to stay in while filming Dumb and Dumber. Anywho, he doesn't make it past the first night.
He didn't make it. He didn't make
according-
it. He made it 45 minutes, if I remember.
That sounds about right. So,
Yeah.
according to and this is according to the hotel staff, mind you, but he burst out of that room, demanded to leave and not come back, and he to this day won't tell anybody what he experienced in there. Like if you try to bring it up in an interview, he'll shut it down.
Yeah, they said he'll get up and leave. He'll leave the interview.
Yeah. So,
So room two.
Jim Carrey, if you're listening, we would love confirmation of that.
Yeah, reach out to us. I mean, if you're ever, you don't have to be afraid to tell us. We accept you. We love you, dude. We'd be very interested to know what happened.
Don't be shy, Jim Carrey.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
Dude, I've been a
ready.
fan of. I've been a fan of his since In Living Color. I mean, come on.
I know. I was just thinking, like,
Fire
I had
Marshal
such
Bill?
a big crush. I had such a big crush on him. I actually got butterflies thinking about like if he emailed our podcast.
Actually,
Like,
I take
die.
that back. I take that back. I've been a fan of his since he did that vampire film, like Once Bitten.
No, Once Bitten. I loved that movie.
Loved that film. God, he was so good in that. That was, and I mean, it was just a campy little 80s flick, but damn, it was enjoyable, and it's still fun to watch. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So he done got spooked clear out of that hotel.
yeah. By the way,
Nice.
this is the same room that Stephen King stayed in. That he stayed in. The rumor goes, not the rumor. The story goes, for anybody, Stephen King stayed at this hotel in the 70s, right? And when they got there, it was him and his wife and his son, and it was right before they closed for the season when they used to do this, and so they were the only people there. So once again, that's one thing that inspired his, writing The Shining, because if you remember The Shining, it's just Jack and his wife and his son. Just like in this, it's Stephen King and his wife and his son, and nobody else is in the hotel. Now, I learned this later on. One of the things that goes is he kept hearing kids in the hallway. But there's nobody in the
Oh.
Stephen
hotel.
King or Stephen King?
Stephen King. He
Yeah.
heard kids in the hallway.
Oh,
And-
we should have some context as to why that room is haunted.
Oh, yes, we'll get to that. Yes, we should.
Okay.
We need to get to that. So, the story goes, though, that Stephen went to bed that night and had this terrible dream where the fire hydrant was trying to strangle his son. And he woke up in a cold sweat, the fire hose. Because, in the hotel, they had like the big fire hose.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be much harder for a fire hydrant.
I don't know why I said fire hydrant. I'm sorry.
Once again.
The
It's
fire
like the fire
hose-
hydrant's just kind of like, bumping up against it. It's
Yeah.
like it doesn't have arms. It's so sad.
Exactly.
It's trying so hard.
No, the
Poor
dream
little
was
guy.
is that the fire hose was trying to strangle his son. So he woke up in just cold sweat, freaked out, and he got up, started smoking a cigarette, and started just writing down the beginnings of what would become The Shining until he saw the sun come up.
So I like how Jim Carrey is like, I'm getting the hell out of here. And Stephen King's like, I'm inspired. Time to write a book.
Well,
He's a
That's
horror
his thing.
novelist. That's his thing.
King's got a king.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, whatever it takes, because The Shining is an amazing book. I
Mhm.
mean, Stephen King's an amazing writer. Hey, Mr. King, if you're listening,
I know you.
I'm getting butterflies in my stomach thinking of you
We've got a crush on
messaging
you,
us
too.
and being like, "Yeah, I'd love to come on your show and talk about the Stanley." I would. That would be a dream come true. He's like one of my favorite authors of all time. Like, I want to write like him. But yes. So yeah, we need to talk about why is room 217 so freaking haunted?
And the answer is because of ghosts in it.
Nailed it. Enough said. Was that the one where the lady? Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
I'll let you tell it better then.
there was a lady that worked at the hotel doing hotel lady stuff. The service folks that do your pillows and you're changing your sheets and all that kind of jazz. That's what she was doing. And she had a pretty exciting life in the Stanley. What
Elizabeth
funnily
Wilson
enough,
was her name, by the way.
Okay.
I looked
yes,
it up.
Thank you. We have graduated from hotel lady.
Yes, Miss Elizabeth Wilson.
So, funnily enough, what didn't kill Elizabeth Wilson was one day she walked into that room when a gas leak was occurring unbeknownst to her, and this actually did happen, and a splodey happened, as is common with gas leaks,
Yeah.
and blew the room to smithereens, if you will. And she got blasted back, but survived. Surprise, no ghost yet.
Well,
it was a fake out.
So it was a lot worse than just getting blasted back. She got blasted down. She got blasted down
Yeah.
2
Oh, that's
levels.
right. Yeah.
And then she had the other levels come down on top of her.
Mhm.
So in the hotel, there's a display also of some of the blasted remains of that room. So apparently, I want to say to this day, according to the hotel staff, people are still finding bits and pieces of that room, like
on the mountainside,
across the way on the side of the mountain.
Oh my gosh.
because that's how severe it was. And this woman survived it. She didn't die.
Yeah,
she lived. Now I'm looking at
just yet.
I'm looking at this article written about it. It's on amyscrypt.com. According to this, it said during a severe storm, the power was lost, and Elizabeth Wilson, who was a maid at the time, entered room 217 to investigate. Miss Wilson caused an explosion upon entering the room with a candle, partly destroying that
That's
area of the
right,
hotel
yeah,
and sending
yeah.
her crashing through the floor, landing on the floor below and breaking her ankle. But she survived the explosion and went on to live the rest of her happy long life. But I wanted to say that she still died in the room later on.
I don't think so, but I mean,
I don't think she did.
It didn't. An explosion wasn't enough to stop her hoteling career. She came back to work once she recovered, and
When she
continued
died, she
working
came
there.
back to work.
Yeah, it went, well, yeah, that is indeed part of it. But yeah, she worked there until the day she died, and then one might presume hasn't
Yeah.
stopped working yet.
Yeah.
Can I just say though, so I mean, I presume the story is true, right? Like they're finding bits of the room, whatever. But Eureka Springs, the Crescent Hotel, they have a story almost exactly like that.
Really?
Yeah. When they were telling me that, I was like, is this just like one of those ghost urban legends? You know, like a lady in white hitchhiking, you know, and get picked up, but she's not really there. Is it like one of those?
I don't know. Maybe. Hey,
Maybe
Crescent
hotels had a
Hotel.
lot of gas leaks back then.
You should
There
reach
probably
out.
were a lot of gas leaks.
I know.
though.
Hey, Crescent
It was
Hotel.
just a Tuesday.
You could reach out to us. We would, if you want to like have us come and stay in a room free of charge, we will be glad.
Do you
to
want
do
to
that.
have them come stay in a room free of charge? Email.
James is
Yeah,
not doing
James
it.
won't do it. Which actually, we're going to lead into this grand plan that James came up with, because what was it? Oh, that's right. Because the one thing that they talked about was that the ghost doesn't like single men, because she doesn't trust them.
Right. Well, remember when she was working there, this was during old-timey prudish times, as I said before, where they were keeping the men and the ladies tightly,
Separated.
segregated.
Yeah.
Different buildings, right? So, to this day, if you're a dude and you're staying in that room and you're a single bachelor unmarried dude, ghost lady coming for you.
Which coincidentally,
she's not down with being in that room.
Jim Carrey was unfortunately going through a divorce at that time. They told us that he had been going through, unfortunately, a divorce when that happened. So of course, I'm like, look, I mean, I'm not a single guy, I'm married, but I'm the one that's like, I will go stay in this room. Like, I will set up like camera. We will, and you two can sit in your safe place away from the hotel and monitor everything. But see, then we were there with Heather, Christina's sister, and we decided, no, for some reason we need to dress Heather up like a dude. And then we need to make sure she's saying all of these phrases to really make the ghost lady angry. Be like, I'm going to be peeping, man. I'm going to be like, checking out some... I'm going to be peeping on some boobies.
Peeping on some ladies.
I'm going to be cheap. Yeah. And I had come up with the idea, like, no, I'll wear like my gray suit and I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to go check out some gams. I'm going to check out some of these ladies, in the hopes that Miss Wilson would be like, "Oh, I don't think so, asshole," and then just start doing weird shit. So, but the thing
I
is,
just want somebody to stay the night there as an
I-
80 frat guy with a backwards baseball cap. It's like, hey, I'm here to drink some booze and do some peeping.
Some peeping.
yeah, you can do some peeping.
Do
I'm
some
trying to remember
peeping
the
on
phrase
some
that
data,
came up.
see some boobies.
Let's check out them tatas. Oh yeah.
So
Yes.
what was the ghost voice message thing though? I don't want to forget
Right,
about
right.
this.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
you said.
So when
What
we
you
were
said
okay,
during the tour spooked me.
so to bring it home. So when we were in the aforementioned room, we didn't go to 217. We didn't go to any
No.
of the
No,
individual
but when they
rooms,
were
'cause
That
talking
thing's
about-
booked like years out.
But
there were
specifically
people
when they were
staying in there were people staying in those rooms, and they wouldn't have taken well to us barging in on them. Just saying.
Mm-mm.
But we were in that room,
The billiard
the
room,
music
yeah.
room with the piano and the mirrors, not the creepy mirror, just the normal mirrors. But
I thought we were
the
in
room
we were
that
in the
Jim Carrey
billiard
had also
room.
been in.
I thought we were in the
we were in the
we were in the billiard room when this happened, when they were talking about this with the
Oh,
pool
that's what I
table, with the
remember.
billiard table, and I thought
Yeah,
It doesn't
no,
matter.
it was the billiards
We were-
room, but that's okay.
We were in a room
we were
that
in
Jim
a
Carrey had also been in. That's the important part. So my little ghost app caught some words
right
right?
when the tour guide lady, when she was talking about Jim Carrey.
when she was
Mind
talking
you.
about Jim Carrey. So we got a fool, idiotic. It's what we want. Who is he? I meant it. I'm not sure. Statue. Please leave.
Yeah.
I like the fool and idiotic part.
Yeah,
And it's what we want. We want the idiotic fool. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, Ghost. You got some good tastes.
Filming Dumb and
well, look at the
Dumber.
timestamps. I'm trying to remember. Didn't it come in as idiotic fool, or did it come in as fool idiotic?
Well, they were clocked in at the exact same minute. So
Whatever is on top is the later one.
fool, idiotic.
Okay,
Yeah.
then.
Followed
So
by it's what we want. Which
Okay.
I'm with
as you
I'm with
go
you.
up the list, it could be is the more recent one. So you the
Yes.
first word would be the one that's the lowest.
Yeah.
So yeah, I see, and I'm the one holding his phone, and so I was like, I'm holding this little ghost. I said I'm holding this little ghost app, and it just said, yeah, fool and idiotic, and they were like, oh, it's like that's not very nice. So
I mean, it was Dumb and
I
Dumber. So
meant it.
it was on
Yeah.
brand. It was
yeah,
on
that's
brand.
I mean that's true.
And they did say it's what we want.
Yeah, the ghosts stood by their actions. They're like, I meant it.
For real. Yeah. But that was and then we went through, I remember after that we went to that room where the car was. Nothing really happened there. And then
There's
the
a room
last,
with a car in it, like an old timey Model T
like
era kind of
like
car.
from the not even like the 19 teens. That's how old I think that car
old
was.
timey times.
Old timey times. And that, but the neatest thing was the last part when they took us
Mhm.
down underneath the building.
Oh yeah,
That was
yeah.
so creepy.
There's this little basement tunnel system under the hotel because again, this is old timey times. The whole, and remember the dude, the Richie Rich dude built the Richie Rich hotel for his Richie Rich friends, right? Right, you're with me here.
Oh
So the tunnels underneath the hotel are to fulfill the expectation that the workers are to not be seen or heard. You're
yeah.
supposed to do their work, but you're not supposed to ever know they've been there. So the tunnels were so that they could like traverse between the hotel rooms under the hotel, pop up where they need to be, do their worky work, pop back down and go back into the tunnels. So like that was a thing. But that's so yes, so that's the context. So that's where we were at this point during the tour, is underground at the thankfully no longer needed, no longer used tunnels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They still have like an office back there that they use, but they don't have to like actually use
Yeah,
the
and there's a
tunnels
guy
to
with a
work.
red stapler down there, and
But the thing is that we haven't talked about was during the tour, they would periodically show us photographs that people had
Ugh.
supposedly caught of ghosts. And
Yes,
while
the
we're
place that
in
we're
this,
standing at the moment.
yeah, and we're in this underground tunnel, they turn off all the lights, so we're in the pitch black again. And it goes up like underneath like underneath the hotel. Like you can see back there all the wires and the piping. But I remember two main photographs they showed us. One, and we were like standing just by it. There's like this, it's rock, like it's literally you see part of the mountain
Mhm.
is coming into the hotel, and
Yes.
you can walk around there a little bit, like if you wanted to. Back behind there, we didn't, but in the one photograph somebody had caught, you see these kids just kind of peeking from around that rock corner, and I was like, oh fuck that, no.
Mm-mm.
And then the other one was these two or three girls, they were taking a selfie, and right above them looks like some guy who is up where you cannot get. And what was he? He's like contorting his face, and he's just like,
He looked like a freaking golem coming out of the rock. It was like
Mm.
it was like a naked torso. Like he was not wearing like clothing, and he looked like a scrawny old man kind of, and scraggly with long hair. And he was like, yeah, doing his face where he was like had his mouth open, almost like he was like, ah. I don't know. It was so creepy though. That picture gives me the fucking creeps.
Yeah,
I'm
that was
like freaked out right now thinking about that thing.
I took a whole bunch of pictures.
Yeah, and then he and
of
I,
that
to
little
try to
cave.
recreate that, he and I did a
Yeah.
selfie together.
Yeah,
Nothing.
and only thing I got a picture of was a big old hole. That's all I got. Big old hole. That's it.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, I tried to take a lot of pictures down there, but I didn't get anything interesting.
Yeah. So far, the only thing we seem to have caught was my picture of the mirror and the figure
Mhm.
walking through there. But alas, it was still a great time. It was neat to walk through history like that. There was a lot of history to that
Mhm.
building. It was
It was
It was
gorgeous.
beautiful.
And Estes
And
Park
we,
in general is exquisite.
Yes.
That little town, like all the mountains going up. Yeah, that was
Yeah, I want to
gorgeous.
live there. Oh my God. James,
Yeah,
by the
we
way,
had a-
just a side note, we missed an opportunity because apparently they sell red rum ale.
Oh man, I want
I
some
know.
red road.
Well, you'll be back there. We'll be back there, and because our good friend is moving to Colorado.
Yeah. So we need to figure out how to do a return visit and like get in contact with somebody at the hotel to like do a show from there or something. Because I mean, the reason we're
Mhm.
talking about all this after the fact is when we were there, it was you go along on the tour with the tour people like any normal Joe Blow does, and there's no recording on that thing. So, we didn't get to show up with big YouTuber clout and say, hey, let us do YouTube or anything like that. So we just had to do the normal Joe ghost tour
Yeah.
with the normal Joe ghost tour experiences. So
Yeah, we're still nobodies.
so we need a round two where we can get in touch with somebody and figure out how to do a thing there right and proper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be nice. That would be fun.
You know what? Let's get on that. We'll see what we can do as far as making that happen. Perhaps here's the thing they told us too, when it comes to room 217, which is also known as the Stephen King suite, that fucker is almost damn near impossible to get even a night.
Yes.
Because
Okay, so
everybody
about
is
that.
yeah, everybody's always booking it because it's room
Yeah, it was like
217.
booked I want to say a couple of years ahead.
Yeah.
Especially
But,
if it's
I
Halloween.
did-
Like they love to book it on Halloween, she said.
Yeah, so yeah, it's popular. And of course there's some YouTubers out there who booked it. So but so I pulled one of the tour guide people aside after the tour. So they're off the clock. They can speak a bit more freely. And I asked them, it's like, okay, so 217 is booked all the time. So there are people always in there. So how frequently do you hear about happenings going on in this crazy
Yeah.
room?
Great
And
question.
his answer was, nah, not really. They haven't heard anything in a long time. But to be fair, He said that most of the people who stay in that room are families, and therefore would be off of the lady's radar because
Yeah.
Okay.
married man. It's all good. So as long as families are staying in there, no hunting's going on. We need some single dudes, some dude broads, if you will, with backwards hats and ready to smash some kegs to go up there and do some peeping to get a proper haunting. That's what we need to happen.
Yeah, do some peeping. Well, see, I have said, I'm like, I'll do it. I will go and I will be the guinea pig. I want to have an experience.
Well, just sign up for 2026.
Yeah, pretty much.
Get on the waiting list. Stay tuned,
Maybe
listeners.
Maybe we'll have more listeners by then.
Maybe.
And they'll
If
be
you're a
like,
listener to the
"Oh."
show and have the ability to bribe a employee of the Stanley Hotel.
I'm sharing with you the pictures of the coin in our channel.
Oh, the coin that we didn't get.
You were
Yeah,
with me when they
bragging
handed. You were in the
rights.
passenger
Just-
side.
I don't. I didn't see this happen. I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Well, they gave it to us when we pulled into park. Like the girl that was
okay, so
there.
I wasn't the driver.
Christina, were
I
you
didn't
just
get a
riding
cool
with
coin.
Heather, or were you?
I was with you, I think.
I'm talking to Christina. You were with me.
Oh.
Were you in the van with Heather, or?
I rode up there with Heather. I rode back with you guys.
That's right. So Heather got a coin.
I want
Just
a
steal it.
coin.
We'll just steal it from her.
Okay. I'm gonna Mission Impossible. Enter her house. Da-na-na. Da-na-na. Da-na. Awesome. Do we have anything else?
Not that I can remember. But-
So I have a comment, if you will.
Hmm?
So from what I understand, if I am not mistaken, the Stanley didn't become popular and didn't become known for hauntings until after Stephen King stayed there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I gotta say it's a little sus that it's a normal little hotel until Stephen King stays there and then suddenly it's haunted.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Like, does Stephen King have the ability to cause hauntings? That'd be kind of cool.
Maybe with it when he did write that book, maybe he conjured spirits.
Man, he doesn't know the power he wields.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like a tulpa kind of situation.
Stephen King, if you're listening, you need to get a grip on that.
whoa.
Use your powers for good, and not haunting the hell out of Jim Carrey. Because I mean, come on, man,
Wait,
Jim Carrey, he's a American jewel. Don't want to be scaring that guy.
Stephen King's not haunting him, though. I mean,
The degrees of separation.
I guess. Well, okay. But yeah, that was our lovely trip to
Our first field work.
Oh,
on
yay.
location.
it's our first field work. It's our first work out in the field. And I think it was quite a bit of a success, don't you think? So
Yeah. You know, James and I both failed on the Denver International Airport.
Oh, don't be
situation.
too
You
hard
gotta
on
go
yourselves.
But
You got yourself a ghost picture.
that's right.
I got a goose picture. We need to try to go to the Crescent next. I think that would be fun.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
I've actually stayed at the
We're
Crescent,
Done.
but nothing happened.
Mm.
Okay.
When it's dead silent, it's over.
Love you. Bye.
I love you. You complete me. Well, hey,
So follow us on all our socials, little podcast horrors like
Or
TikTok,
don't. Do what you want.
Instagram,
You're a free person.
Facebook. No, do it. James,
do
don't
it.
give
We
them an
demand.
out. Do it.
We demand. We demand your followership.
And we also have a website, littlepodcastofhorrors.com. If you have any spooky stories or anything interesting to tell us, we'd love to hear it. littlepodcasthorrors@gmail.com.
But it's gotta be spooky. I mean, don't tell us about that time you stubbed your toe. That's not
You
interesting.
say that all the time.
I said interesting. They know by now. Interesting doesn't mean
They know what
toe
you mean.
stubbing stories.
Christina's on this. They know.
All right, signing off. Bye.
Yeah, bye. I've got whatever. I don't know. Toodles.